Hi, everyone, and welcome to this incredible edition of Tap Into Your Creativity. We have an incredible guest artist today joining us all the way from Israel, and he is going to join us live. His name is Shony Rivnay, and I can't wait for all of you to meet him. He's an extraordinary artist, and you're going to see his studio and his artwork today that is just unbelievable. Thank you all for joining us. I can't wait for Shony to join us, so hopefully he'll see us here. Shony, if you can hear me, please join. Just give us a second, you guys, and hopefully he'll join us any minute. This is quite the treat. I'm so excited to bring him to all of you and his work. Thank you for my family. I'm just seeing that you guys are joining. And there is Shony. So Shony just requested to go live with me. And we are going to go. Here we go. Okay. I'm bringing him in. And wait 1 second. Okay. Thank you. Hi, Shony. How are you?
Do you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you just fine. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, perfect.
Oh, great. Oh, Shony, welcome to the program. I'm so excited to have you today. What a treat. And I know that things in Israel right now are kind of crazy. And my thoughts and prayers go out to all the people there. And hopefully we can just find peace for everyone. I hope your family and everyone around you is safe. So I really, truly appreciate that you are showing up today, because I said to Shony, we don't have to do this interview today. And Shony said,
hey, I'm here. I love being in the studio. I love to talk to people. The situation looks bad in the media. It's okay. I mean, our life is okay, and things will be better soon.
God willing, yes.
Anyway, I'm so happy to see you and have you and your guests in my studio.
Yes, I am so excited, Shony. People are super excited to meet you, meet your work, and know all about you. And, you know, when I first met you, it was through a good friend of ours, Lynn Kahn, and she introduced me to you and your work, and we've just become fast friends. And I can't wait for everyone to know who you are and who is Shony. So let's just dig in there, and let's start from the beginning, Shony. So tell us a little bit about yourself, please.
Well, I'm here in this studio for the last 16 years. In fact, as a young man, I was an art student in Jerusalem in Bezalel, which is one of the schools here. I'm talking about the 70s. So that means conceptual art, minimalism, interesting times. Paintings came on later on, again on the 80s. So this is my background. I started as an art student in fine art department. But from the conceptual art, I moved into advertising for some good years. I worked in advertising as an art director and creative director here in Israel and then in the States on Madison Avenue in New York, and went back to Israel. But about 20 something years ago, I decided to go back into fine art and do my thing. And it was a nice journey.
And let me ask you something, Shony. When you were growing up in Israel, were you always attracted to the art world or the design world? What was your growing up like?
Well, I didn't have any artist around me when I was young. My father was a scientist. He was an entomologist, insects research, those insects who affect some agriculture, fruits or vegetables. And I saw him drawing. I can show later some of his drawings. And that's my childhood, seeing the strange forms of his drawings of parts of an insect, looking at the microscope and drawing it. So that's my childhood. In school, I was more into drama. I thought I'd be an actor, or movies or whatever. But around, I guess, the army time, I moved into fine art and kind of paintings and sculpting and stuff like that. And then I went to the school in Jerusalem.
So were you, Shony, were you always in the track of abstract contemporary work, or were you at some point representational, or?
That's interesting. I consider myself as a conceptual artist. I came from
what does that mean for
time.
you? What does that mean for you as a conceptual artist?
The idea is, in a way, as or more or as important as the way it comes out. So you have to have an idea. You have to either say something or deal with something with some kind of concept. I loved it when I was young in art school, and it really helped me later on when I moved to advertising. So instead of just being like a graphic designer or an art director, I was more conceptual, and it really helped me to come up with better ideas. So during my life, my art life, I felt like I'm doing different works every time, different projects each time, and everything looks so different. And I remember I used to tell myself, what's going on with you? Who are you as an artist? What are you standing for? And I was really looking because, I have friends, people who had problems with the war, people who had problems as a child with the family. Every artist I knew brought something crazy into his work, and I consider myself too normal. Only later on, in the last, I guess, 5 years, I really realized that I'm doing the same all my life. I'm doing same things. But it took some time to understand that I'm doing the same things. So now I became so how would I say it, free, and now when I have the border of my conceptual thinking, I let myself just paint and do things and try to do it without controlling it, knowing or understanding that whatever I do will be the same.
So using less of your intellect and letting more of your sixth sense coming through?
Yes, putting aside everything, actually. Knowing that no matter what you do, it's you, and you do the same. Sometimes you don't see it in the beginning, but if you look backwards and trying to see the bigger picture, you find that you do same things. I would say it's like, how do you call that?
A spiral?
Spiral. You get into the same place every now and then, but from a different perspective, and you grow. A spiral is a growing thing.
Yeah, I think that it's very interesting what you're saying, because I think what I'm listening to what you're saying is that you can go back in your work 30 years or 20 years ago and find that same language that connects your work throughout. And maybe you're doing it from a different point of view, but you find that connection that it's your own language. Is that correct?
Yes, yes, exactly, exactly. You all of a sudden see that whatever you do might look different from a previous work, but still have the same, I would say, the same DNA.
Exactly. So it's like a dictionary for you. You go back and you kind of look and see, and it informs you a little bit of what you want to be doing now, or not necessarily, but it's something definitely that you record, that you have in the back of your mind, and it's that muscle that we try to, work to it every single day, especially as an artist, because if you don't show up and you paint, you kind of lose that muscle. So then you can look back and be inspired by your own work to then show up.
Yes, interesting. I mean, you as an artist, do you look back into your sketchbook? I mean,
You
like
know,
month.
yes, I have been looking back lately, because I was in a little bit of a dry spot, and I'm slowly getting back to it. And so I did look back, and I found the things that I like in my painting, and ask why I like the things that I like in my painting. And that has provoked me to start again, and maybe with fresh ideas. I've interviewed so many incredible artists, and I've learned so much from all of you, and I think I'm being influenced in a way, in a beautiful way, by all of you.
It's really interesting. I was thinking I should ask you about that because you are really an artist who works all the time. And I know personally that sometimes I don't want to see others people work. I don't want to get into others people's world. I need to be with my work now. And you are in such kind of a constant dialogues with different artists all the time. Must be interesting with your art.
It's a constant push and pull, I would say, wanting to stay in my own lane, but at the same time being influenced in a way, in a positive way, I would say, because I'm channeling every interview that I have. Everyone is so different, and everyone has their own story, and I need to find my own voice, right? So as long as I stay true to my own voice, I think I'm going to be okay.
Great. Good.
So, Shani, tell me a little bit about, when did you start working in a very large scale, and when were you showing in New York? For people that don't know you, you were showing in New York, and you were all over the map, really. How did you get involved in going internationally? How did your work get there?
Well, there's some few questions there. I'll start with the first one with the size. Uh, you see, as an artist, I think I was really influenced by the situation with the COVID, especially in the beginning, the first lockdown, the first time we were staying here, and all of a sudden I realized the entire world is in your hand, in your cell phone. And everything is about, like 3-4 centimeters size, and you see everything in that size. And that made me thinking, I'll do the opposite. I will go for I wouldn't say extravaganza, but I would say for the experience and the feeling you have. Because once you hold a picture of 20 centimeters on 20 centimeters, it's an object. But if I may, just
Yes, please.
I may stand here and the whole picture becomes environment. You are the product. You are the small size next to that universe around you. So I decided that every now and then I decided from now on I do just this. So I decided I will do large scale paintings. I did about 30 or 40 of them. But now I'm going back into half size, 2 meters on 140, because I don't have that range, and then 1 meter on 1 and 10, and then much smaller. So that's about the size. I admire the sometimes people get into my studios and they look at the walls and they say, what is it? What is it? It's like they can feel the
Energy coming out.
frequency.
Yes. Yeah, it's bouncing back. Yeah, it really is. And we're gonna get to see it because we're gonna do a gallery tour of your studio, which is fascinating in itself. But Shony, do you so tell us, how did you get international? How did you get your work outside of Israel?
Well, first, my father, years ago, as a scientist, he left Israel to the States for 11 years. He lived in Boston, and in the 30s, he came back to Israel as a doctor, as a researcher in entomology. We lived in New York for 7 years, and I came back to Israel again. My son lived in Israel for so long, in the States, and now he wants to move. It's not now, the last 3 years, he wants to move back to New York with his wife and 2 kids. And he's my only child. And I thought to myself, my God, my only child, my 2 granddaughters are going to live in New York, and I'm going to stay here in Tel Aviv. What will happen? So I said to myself, if I have to go too often to New York, at least let's make it let's have a studio over there, let's have a gallery, let's have my career in New York as well. So I think 1916, I was in Connecticut for, how do you call it, residency.
Yeah, art residency.
Hyde Park residency, which is a wonderful place to be in. You get your own studio in the wood, and you have like 1 month just waking up in the morning, work all day, and meet nice people from.
Amazing. What a great experience for you.
I love residencies. I did one in
Me
Berlin.
too. I love residencies. Shony, we should go to a residency together. I think that's what we should do. Meet halfway somewhere in the world. I can't wait for residencies to come back. And they're slowly getting back, actually.
We will. And then I had a connection with that gallery in Soho, another gallery. So I had about 5, 6, 8, I don't know, little exhibitions in New York, some of them not in an official places like museums or big galleries, but also in some kind of alternative places, which is the scene now in New York. I mean, not many artists get into the best spots, and alternative places is really important in the scene. So things went very well, and I was just about to send my large-scale work to some people in New York, and then the COVID started, and everything got into hold. But yes, I do. It is also, if I would be honest, since in Israel, everywhere, I guess, more contemporary art has the groups and the people who study together, and they help each other. They have their own people to work with. And for me, starting as an artist, as an art student, but moved into the business world, and only around 40 something or 50 I went back to art. I'm not belong to any group. So sometimes when you make it outside your country, it's easier to make it in your country. You know what I'm saying? Once you
Yes.
get recognition in other place, it's
Yes.
easier in your place.
Yes, I would agree with that. Yes, yes. I think that, we have a very beautiful, amazing profession, and at the same time is a very hard profession to be in, because it depends on other people, if they like the work, if they don't. So you're always depending on the collectors. And so, but I wouldn't trade it for the world. So, Shony, let's go around, show us your incredible space, and let's talk about your artwork, because you guys are in for a treat. This is amazing. And
Well,
remember,
I
right
laughed
now
at
in
you.
Israel is 8:20 at night. So that's why it's
And
dark.
and I must say that this place is even nicer during the day. So I was really sorry that we couldn't make that interview during the day.
I
Uh,
know.
I when I realized that I'm really into art and that's gonna be my life, I bought this place. It's about 250 square meters. I would change the how do I do it? I forgot. Oh, here. Fine. Okay. So you know what? I will go from the entrance.
Okay, great.
Into
Perfect.
my. I'm going out. I'll get the light on here. Okay, so it's not easy to see. It's a kind of a nice building around, but you can see it. So this is the studio,
Okay.
and get in, and so first thing you see those two large-scale paintings on the wall, and you have.
What materials are you using on those big paintings on the wall?
I'm using acrylic and canvas, quite thick. I'm looking for a thick canvas,
Yeah, heavy duty canvas.
every
20
duty
pound probably, yeah.
and I have that idea of I have the metal thing up there, and I use magnets.
Oh,
The magnets.
that's a
This
great way. And it doesn't move on you just with magnets?
telling you, Sandra, those magnets are amazing. They are so strong. Then this one was for like 2 years here, and I did another one on
Wow.
the window behind this one. So I have that thing around. Everything is with magnets, and it also helps me to shoot it. When I have a good photographer, he needs the, you see, he's going all the way here,
Back. Yeah.
and I
Wow.
can have one picture in the middle, and I can save all the hassle with transport things and shoot it in outside the studio.
Wow, that's
Uh,
amazing. That's a great tip. I've never seen that before. So it's a great tip. So do you have a strip and then the
yeah,
magnets? Okay. Okay.
I can show
Wow.
I can even show you. You see, so it's here. I have some iron thing. Sorry. Anyway, I have those thing here. The iron
Okay.
which I put on the wall.
Yeah.
Then I have all those
Oh,
magnets.
yes, yes.
They
And I cannot believe that they carry the whole, because that's a big painting and it's a heavy painting.
listen. That technique I know. I mean, you can put shelves and really heavy things on those magnets.
Wow, that's incredible. Okay, let's keep going. So,
Okay, I have here. This is the tables I work with my acrylic colors on one table. I'm trying to put them in groups now. It's hard to see, but brown, red, blue, yellow, and stuff like that. And I work here on that table. It's too close. Let me go back a little bit. And I will just do this. Okay. I'm
all
kind of
your scrapers and yeah. Wow.
inventing. You know what this one?
No.
Okay, this is a roller I invented. And when you do this, it's just create a whole line. Very interesting one.
Oh, I
So
love that.
I use all kinds of rollers and scrapers, you said?
Yeah, scrapers, exactly.
The big one that you use for silk screen,
Making, yeah, to draw the paint.
1 meter long. This one is interesting. I took that pipe, sewage pipe, and I create a large scale, a large
Wow, roller.
roller, exactly. I put some kind of sponge around.
That's to make different mark makings.
Yeah. In
So
fact,
are those the large pieces? Do you do them on the wall or do you do them on the floor?
I work on the floor. You see, this is my floor. You can see the black marks, which is more or less the size that I do, about between 3.5 meters. Usually,
Okay.
there's a work on the floor. Right now, unfortunately, I finished the last one, and I have kind of a party tomorrow, so I'm kind of cleaning the place. But
No
anyway,
worries. No worries.
I do like working on the floor because I don't want to stay from one side. My pictures can be hanged from angles. I
Okay.
don't I don't like to have droplets, so you can
Yes,
see how the artist worked, not
I see.
droplets.
Yes,
And
like marks that are left. Yes.
I just work from around it, and only when I finish, I take everything off. Now, working on the floor helps me to come out with some kind of texture.
Ah,
I like the texture. It looks like a print making here.
yes, it really does.
It,
Because you're
it,
pressing the rollers into the floor, so it's picking up from the floor.
this one is not the roller. It's the big scraper I showed you.
Oh, the scraper. Yeah. Yeah, yeah,
And you
yeah.
kind of texture, and then you can work on that texture when you're on the floor. Once you have the canvas on frame, it's not easy to work with it because you can see the signs of the wood sometimes if you press it too
Yeah.
much. It's
So So now that we have you right there, do you want to show us those tables that you have, or should we go
before
to
I go
see more artwork first?
before I go to the table. So I do have those big ones, 3.5.
Okay.
Only only now, in fact, these are the first two things. Let me hold on. Let me carry it. Aha. I should have prepared it. Sorry. I would put it on the floor, and this. I started to do mid-size,
Okay.
about 190, 180 on 140 centimeters. Let me see.
Wow. Oh,
Back. Okay, it's not easy. You see, I do use.
wow. I see that. It's okay. We can see. Show us a painting, Shony.
Yes, of course.
Wow.
So one I just did last week,
Oh,
and
your application of color and making the decision of your palette, it's so impactful because you can see the light coming through. You use your values in a way that is so mesmerizing, because I guess also the size of it is so big that it looks like it's on fire. It looks amazing. I love how all the layers that you have there and how they're coming through. It's beautiful.
Thank you, Sandra. Let me take this one out and we'll show the second one. Hold on.
So these, we have a question. Let me just see. What are the subjects you keep coming to into your paintings?
What other subjects?
Yes.
Wonderful question. For that, I would go back and sit for a second, because that's really, for so long, I was dealing with subjects and with stories. And only now, the last 5 years, I must say that I decided to give up that thing about stories. You see, I did stories in my life, also as an ad person. Create stories. You know, when you want to promote a company or a brand, you create story, actually. But I must say that the last few years, I'm looking around me and see that stories, that is an interesting tool to educate, to explain people things. You tell it with stories because it's easy for people to understand stories. But now it works against us. I mean, you talked about Israel and the situation. Stories. Here is 1 million people with their stories and another 1 million people with their stories, and they kill each other because they have different stories. And the connection with truth is nothing. No connection. Stories works against us. People going to the psychologist with stories. They did it this way. I've suffered here. I've suffered there. People goes with stories on their backs. I call my art non-story art. No words, no stories, no subject, no ideas, nothing. Because this is not important. For me, the importance is to let loose. Is just do what comes to you, even though you're trying to plan and to think, my way of working is looking to my work. I can even sometimes look hours. And then I decided I'm going to do something, and eventually it comes totally different. But I let it go. And I don't want nothing in my pictures resemble or stands for something that's outside the frame. There's no images. I'm in a non-image work. Non-image work. Image
So
is
it atmospheric almost, like you're out there?
is a way, you can look at it as act that I do on the canvas. Just acts. But I do use, somebody says once, and it's so interesting, that I do use the history of art, the art history in my paintings. Because I do use cliches or techniques or gestures that artists do on their paintings. Whether it's the brush or the roller or the squeeze or your hand or whatever, these techniques become my essence. And they become a whole world. They become universe. And what I deal with when I do it is what's in the front, what's in the back, how it's changed, what's the relationship between the things. I'm totally in the situation on that frame. Nothing comes in from the outside.
You're immersed in there. You're just completely and utterly one with your painting.
I'm Sorry, I didn't understand exactly what
So
you said.
you're painting and you become one.
In a way, I'm not trying to suggest anything that outside of the frame. But you see, the human brain is very interesting. The human brain is always like to find the solution, to understand. You know, when we look at the clouds, we have to see an old man or a running dog. Rorschach thing, you know, oh, it's a
Yeah, yeah,
butterfly, oh, it's a...
yes, yes, yes.
I will not feel comfortable when it doesn't understand or can tell itself what is it.
Correct.
When I do something and it starts to look like something, I would either break it or hang it upside down. Because I love that situation where the human brain, when the viewer is trying to understand or to put things in words or frames, and it's not easy for him. But I can tell you, how difficult I make it, people always see something.
So you live outside the box, Shony.
Totally, I'm trying to. You see,
Yeah.
Listen, when I was in advertising as a creative person, I used to be evaluated by how original my work is. And if I do something and all of a sudden I realize somebody did something similar somewhere in the world, I would kill it. It was so important to be new and different. When I got back into art, I brought few values with me. One is to play, to enjoyment. I used to tell my people in the advertising business, when you enjoy, it shows.
Oh, yeah.
So I decided that I will enjoy. Second, for me, again, it's not necessity, but being different and being new is a value for me that I think important. It doesn't say that every good art have to be different. You know, good art is usually the connection between the artist and the work and the authenticity
Yeah.
and the connection. But for me, I try somehow to be a little different.
So my friend Laura just said abstract surrealism. That's the feeling I get from your art, and I love it. That's what she just said. Surrealism. Yes.
Abstract. Nice, very nice. Yes.
Yes, yes. And she
Thank
knows
you.
a lot about art. So yes, yes. So Shony, let's keep going and showing your studio, because I don't want to not show everything, because we have so much to talk about and we want to see everything that you have to show us.
Here I have the 1 meter on 110. Why is that? Because 1 meter on 1 meter is too squarey, and I decided to make it a square that is. You know, it's here. Where?
I love it. Can you show us some of the pieces there?
Yeah. Yes, I will do it this. I will take those two out. Actually, those two are going to a show next week. Hold on. Sorry. I'm doing it with one hand. Yeah, okay. This is one.
Wow.
Yeah, this is on the floor. This is the second one.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, my mind wants to find the form, wants to find the solution for it. And it keeps me mesmerized because I keep looking and finding nothing that it looks what I'm thinking.
Exactly. This one, I don't know if it's done or not. I just did it yesterday. Hold on.
Wow.
No idea what it is and if it's done or not, but still work on it.
Yeah. But
So
you
this,
definitely have your own language. I mean, you're connecting through your paintings. I can tell that it's a Shony, you know? I mean, it is, you have your brushstrokes, your mark makings that, you know, really have this invisible or visible line that connects them all. So I do love that. And uh, I mean, one is better than the next. Wait till you see this table, you guys. You're gonna die. When I saw
okay.
this, I was like, oh my God.
This is we'll talk
Oh,
later on.
yeah, we'll talk. We'll talk about that.
Okay. I this table 16 years ago, and I paint, and I have a date, and it even has such a lovely sound when I roll it.
Wow. How cool is this? Oh my God. Oh, so you started this how many years ago?
16 years ago.
So it wow. So it has wow. It's just like an
The,
incredible scroll of so much history and I mean mark making and it is just brilliant. So
I
what did you
think
do when you were done?
it's about few hundred meters, and what happened was that once I got into when I got that was 2020. I got into the end of the paper. I couldn't get the same paper. The only manufacturer in Germany wanted to send me about half a ton, million meters long. Anyway, I have a new one.
Woo!
So I brought the
Did you
paper from
did you
Spain.
make this did you make this table yourself? Like did
I
you have
have
it made?
I have a good friend he's a wood he called himself wood feinschmecker. So he's
Okay.
a good carpenter. How do you say it?
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
he's a great wood maker. I want one. I want a table like that.
yes, few millions and it's
Oh,
yours.
there you go. Oh my gosh, look at that. So you started this in 2020.
This one I started about a few months ago in 2021.
Okay, okay. Wow. It's just, you know, it's your sketchbook in a way.
It's a
And
light sketchbook, whatever, and it always talked to with what I'm doing in the studio around it. So for those people who will one day will do research about my work, you can see, but I'm smiling. It will be interesting. So that's my table. You see, I'm dealing with time. I have many works that time is a big issue. Do you want to see another one that I
yes,
did for 30
yes.
years? Okay.
Oh
So
gosh.
on the way to the other one, we will have to have one gong that I brought from Vietnam.
Oh.
I
So you
really
were
use
telling me yesterday that you like the vibration of the sand uh in
I work a
right?
lot with the gong. I work a lot with my Japanese
Oh,
and I do use smoke to clean this place, the energy in this place. Um,
oh, I love that. Wow. Oh, I feel so it makes me feel peaceful.
So I put my, the large scale works are here on those pipes,
Okay.
quite a lot, about 30 something, almost 40.
Wow.
Yeah, very interesting stuff there.
Very. Oh, I wish we could have time to open all of them.
One day. Okay, look at this one. Let me just take everything off. Okay, this is, it looks like a cabinet, a cabinet.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, now you open it. This is a conceptual work I'm doing with my son for
Okay.
the last 30 years. For example, if I take just one frame, and you can see my son
Yes.
holding paper.
Yes.
This is about Ariel Sharon. The prime minister is getting sick and going to hospital.
Okay.
If I take, let's say, this one, whatever it is. Now let me find something more famous. Okay, this one, for example.
Wow.
So you get
So
the
it's
idea.
like, yeah,
My,
yeah.
wherever he is, he get the paper with the big headlines, get a picture. Either I get his picture or he get his own picture. And South African leader died.
Oh,
Okay, so
Mandela.
yeah,
Oh, wow. Okay.
when my son was 10 years old, in my mother's house in Rehovot, this is an American Soviet pressure on Iraq to get out of Kuwait. Do you remember Iraq went
Yes.
into?
Yes. Oh, so you started when he was really like
I started
young.
then, and I can tell you that now, I mean, not now, but a year ago,
Oh.
he's
Oh.
uh, with his first child and yeah, okay. So anyway, I have the entire history of 30 years.
I
Uh,
love that so much. What a great way to, what a beautiful tribute to him and your story and history and all of it in all in once. I love it. It's a great thing.
yeah, I
So
showed it in
yeah, yeah.
Brooklyn and
You
New
have
York.
working paper, Shony, that you can show us?
Yes, yes.
Okay, let's
First
go there. Oh, but
of all,
before we go there, let's show what we're donating today. Shawnee is
okay,
donating two pieces. We're asking $250 for Feeding America. So if you want an original piece of art by Shawnee, this is your time to get it. You will never get it at this price. It is $250 for each. 100% of the proceeds are going to Feeding America. Can you go in a little bit more, Shawnee? He will send this piece to you. So if you're interested, please DM me or Shawnee, but probably just DM me, and I will take care of getting you this pieces. But remember, you guys, right now we have $26,300 for Feeding America, which is the equivalent of 263,000 meals that we have given with my army of artists. So if you want to do something good and feel good and get something in return, please buy today from Shawnee, okay? Anyways, I will turn on comments in like about 5 minutes in case you guys have any questions. So, Shawnee, let's go look at the paper artwork that you're going to show us.
for the paper, just make sure, I want to show that after having the big ones and the 1 meter on 110,
Yes.
I do have few 20 on 20 on board. on board,
Yeah, I love board.
MDF.
Oh, yes.
So I have a few dozens here, which I play
Wow.
with, almost the same kind of size. And I also have 60 on 60 centimeters.
Wow. Wow.
And now,
Okay,
as you
you
can
have to
see,
turn the phone, Shony.
sorry.
There we go.
As you can see, I like working with same size for a long time.
So you do series at the same time?
For years, I order like 12 of this size, 12 of that size. And you ask me why, I have no idea. But somehow I like when everything is in the same size. It's easier to pack, it's easier to put, and it looks nice in the studio.
Yes, it's true. Um, so yeah, it's great. Wow, the color again, the use of your color is so satisfactory. It is just look at that. I mean, that is just brilliant. I love that blue with I believe it's gray.
Yeah.
And just the detail of the red orange on the bottom is just brilliant. You move
Uh,
your eye around the whole thing. It's amazing. Okay,
okay.
where
Now,
is your paper?
so okay, this is paper, as we said.
Right. Yes.
And I didn't prepare it. Oh my God. Okay.
Oh, that's
So
okay. Don't worry, Shani. That's okay. Don't
okay.
worry.
So
We can go.
hold on. This is my kitchen.
Okay.
My kitchen. We do here a lot of dinners, and I love when people come over and I can prepare some.
Entertain. Yeah, that's awesome.
I
What a,
write things that also from the COVID time. See,
I love
the
that.
less ego, the less you are in the process, the better painting is coming over. Anyway, this is older time with all those scepters.
Wow.
Sculpting, I do sculpture as well. But
Wow.
anyway, I where is my books? Here, I have some books here. Is it? No light here. Hold on.
No, we can't see anything right now. It's too dark.
Yeah, sorry. Um, this book is interesting because this book shows the beginning of the process of the last 5 years. I
Ah,
started those drawings. You see, I'm freak. I
2016.
date always. So you can see that I do those things. I started in 16,
Amazing.
and at some point I took this book to Connecticut when I had that
Residency.
residency, and
Wow. Amazing. Okay, Shani, I'm going to turn back on the comments. So if you want to go back and sit down,
yes,
because we only have 5 more minutes.
wow,
Unfortunately, it went really fast. We might have to do a part two, Shani, so we can see all your work because your work is extraordinary and there's so much to talk about. So if you guys have any questions, this is the right time to ask. But Shani, do you like working better on canvas, wood, paper, or everything?
great question. I realize that sometimes the unknown. I get a specific paper, and it reacts differently, and it needs to be absorbed with a lot of water, and all of a sudden you work with a lot of color, and the unknown helps me. The mistakes helps me. I like everything, you know. Yeah, I do prefer to work on canvas, just because I think it will stay for another 10 billion years, and it be here in, you know. But yeah, I do everything.
And do you like to do you like to use acrylics, or do you like mixing?
It,
I know
uh,
you use sometimes you use spray paint and epoxy sometimes even.
well, here I work only with acrylic. 10 years ago, I did some, or even 15, I worked with oil, and I love oil, but oil is a big process, and it's like changing the studio in a way, in the frequency you work, the way you work, the time it takes. So right now, I feel comfortable with acrylic. In the last few years, I learned a lot about all kind of materials. I went to school with some young kids, learning about polyurethane, epoxy, all those kind of materials, and I play with it a lot. I play with those materials quite a lot. Almost
That's
almost every 2 days, I do something with it.
Yeah, well, can you just go get the pieces that we're donating so we can show them again before we leave? You can leave the phone. Oh, okay. Whatever works for you.
Sandra,
I'm gonna just turn off comments for a second again, and so we can see
two or three,
this
two or three,
beautiful two.
two or
Yeah. Oh,
okay. This
okay.
is the
That's
light from.
number one. Yeah. We can see it great. Yes.
Okay.
And just remember, if you are interested in purchasing, please DM me. I will have pictures of these incredible artworks by Shony. So super excited about this. And Shony, I can't thank you enough. You are an inspiration. You will forever be my friend. And thank you for being in my army of artists. Thank you for joining me today. I know you're going through a lot today, so you paused yourself, I think. Oh, there we go. So I can't thank you enough for making this incredible interview happen today.
Sandra, thank you very much for having me. I see what you do with your program, and just amazing. And I really appreciate you calling me and wanting me to talk. And I hope, it went too fast. I was so excited. Thank you very much. And I hope we'll talk again soon.
Oh, I'm sure we will. And so just look, where can we find you, Shony? Where is a good place to find your artwork?
First of all, I'm really interested in my Instagram account. I put every week something, and so you can see my development in the Instagram account. If any one of your followers will be my friend, I will be a very good friend too. And also my site is always on. It's a Shony Rivnay, Shony with Y and Rivnay with Y, shonyrivnay.com. There you can see my exhibitions and text about my work and stuff. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much. You guys all follow Shony here. And thank you again. Mwah. Stay safe,
Thank you
my
very
friend. Take care.
thank, thank you
Thank you
everybody.
all. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.